I'm on my mission today to empower over 1 billion people to make more money, help more people, and have more fun, to live in abundance, to live in a value add world, not a zero sum game. If you build a community of abundance, of people that add value to each other, you have a community of people that will buy from each other and sell for each other for life. And there's more than enough in a community like that for everyone. And so many people don't understand.
Welcome back to another episode of R4E, the Reason for Everything podcast. I am giddy for today's episode, and David, really appreciate you making time to join today. So David is an entrepreneur, a best-selling author. He was voted as Variety Magazine's Sports Humanitarian of the Year in 2016 or 2017, if I did my homework correctly. He's a Forbes top 10 keynote speaker, a fellow podcaster, and most importantly, a father and a husband. His life's mission is to empower over 1 billion people to be happy. I first heard about you, David, on the YNK podcast last year. I had the chance to meet you in Times Square this past summer, got a copy of your book, and I want to dive into that here in a moment. But just, again, want to express my gratitude for you joining today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So anyone who knows me or who has listened to this show knows that I'm really big into the world of spirituality and vibrations and frequencies. And I really got into this whole journey of mindset motivation and self-help books and all of that realm a couple of years ago, but I kept struggling to figure out how to apply the really interesting and unique topics that they talk about in books like Asking It Is Given or Frequency or Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, and actually applying that to the business world. And that's where I found your book to be so helpful in making a lot of money, helping a lot of people, and having a lot of fun. And so with that, I mean, there was just so many good learnings of your book and in your, materials that you put out. And so with that, David, this is the Reason for Everything podcast. You've had an incredible life's journey, and I'd love to just give you the opportunity to share a couple of our free stories that might bubble to the top for you.
Yeah, for me, it's a matter of living in these different worlds that I lived in. I was born into the world of not enough of anything. 6 kids, single mom. She packed my dinner in a paper bag so she could work 2 jobs. One as a second grade teacher, and then to fill up turnstiles at convenience stores with greeting cards. But there's tons of love in my life, even though I lived in that world of not enough. And, all I wanted to do was be rich. So for me, it was, a matter of buying my mom a house and a car. The only time I wasn't happy was when I'd catch my mom unhappy about financial circumstances. So I had a weird relationship with money. And I think a lot of people don't even, notate what relationship they have with money, or even see money as an energy or something that you can have a relationship with. And it took me a lot of years to move from the world of not enough to another scarce world of just enough. And a lot of people will tell you, right, things don't happen to you. You're not a victim. They happen for you. And I bought into everything about for me, right? Giving to receive, and, thinking I was abundant, but yet everything still was a trade or a negotiation in my life. And this world of just enough can be even more dangerous than the world of not enough. The world of not enough, at least, is obvious, but the world of just enough has illusory components and capabilities to it. We feel like we're living in abundance. Everything's happening for me, and I'm positive and optimistic. But in the end, your happiness is tied, and your relationship with money is still scarce. That it's, buying things to be happy, buying more things to be happy, buying different things to be happy, buying things you don't need to impress people you don't like. And happiness is tied to that relationship. I actually tied my own self-worth to how much money I made. And if my bank account went up, I was happier. And if my bank account went down, even though I had over $100 million, it wouldn't matter how much it went up or went down. It was still a level or a relationship, a vibration or a frequency or awareness of scarcity. And until I attained acknowledgement, and acknowledgement is only attained, which means acknowledgement, acquiring the knowledge of what I had. The only way to acquire the knowledge of what you have is not to have it anymore. So yes, you can give it away, but it can be lost, stolen, cheated, manipulated, stolen from you, like I said. And all of those things happened. I lost over $100 million in order to understand the zero sum game in which I was living, either as a victim where things happened to me, or as a false illusion of abundance in the world of just for me. Now, after that acknowledgement, I live in a value add world of more than enough of everything for everyone, which requires faith that there is more than enough of everything for everyone. It requires faith there is abundance, infinite, unified system of thought that we all belong to. And that's why I'm on my mission today to empower over 1 billion people to make more money, help more people, and have more fun, to live in abundance, to live in a value add world, not a zero sum game.
Certainly. And one of the big things that I find interesting is the, 2-point shift that you always recommend to people in terms of enhancing their life and changing their life. And the first is asking people how you can be of service and add value to them. And the second one is asking how they can potentially help you as well. And it's that second piece that you always mention is just as important. Could you double click on that a little further for my audience?
Yeah, so I'm on a mission to build a community of people that want to help each other and know people that can help each other. My prayer every morning is to pray for at least 10 people that I can help, but also for at least 10 people that can help me. If you build a community of abundance, of people that add value to each other, you have a community of people that will buy from each other and sell for each other for life. And there's more than enough in a community like that for everyone. And so many people don't understand this value add community, and they are more afraid of asking for help or asking to receive than they are of giving. And they think that this equation of the more you give, the more you receive is a complete equation. It's not complete. I don't know why people don't talk about the first step of the flow of abundance, which is yes, the more you give, the more you receive. But the more you receive, the more you can give. And if all you're doing is giving, you're not going to have anything to give to receive. So you got to understand, where does the more to give come from? It comes from receiving more. So I actually place making money first, then helping people, then having fun. I haven't met anyone in the world that doesn't make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun, that isn't happy. But the people that make a lot of money are not afraid or have a relationship with money, that there's more than enough of it. And when they're giving someone an opportunity to help them, when they're giving someone an opportunity to add value by giving them something, they're actually adding value to the person that's giving it as well. In fact, even our human anatomy and chemistry also conclude and confirm that when we give, the dose of happiness is given to you: dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. When you receive, the dose of happiness is given to you. But if you witness giving or receiving, the same dose of happiness is given to you. Nobody realizes that we're teaching our children only part of the equation of abundance, and we need to make sure that they understand, yes, the more you give, the more you receive, but you got to have more to give. And so make sure you have a relationship, a value add relationship, an abundant relationship to money and people, that you just don't give help, that you ask for help and give help. You create a community of people that want to help each other and know people that can help each other, especially with the amplified audience that we have today and the connectivity that we have today to so many people.
Why do you think we have such a hard time asking for, asking others for help? What do you think it is about humans, whether it's today or ever, that that's the case?
Well, we don't understand humility, and we don't have faith that there's more than enough. See, if you knew there was more than enough of everything for everyone, you wouldn't be even bothered by asking for more.
Right.
It's when you don't believe that there's more than enough. If you only think there's one cookie in the pantry, you're going to feel really bad about asking for that cookie. If you see people with more than enough cookies and they're throwing them away at the end of the day, you're not going to feel bad about asking for a cookie. And unfortunately, too many people see one cookie in the pantry when the truth is the pantry's overflowing with cookies. Don't worry about it. Live in faith that there's more than enough of everything. There's an omniscient, all powerful, all knowing, abundant, infinite system that's unified in thought, that is expanding and growing and accelerating at all times. So you cannot use humility as an excuse not to ask for more than enough. Actually, use humility as a motivator and an inspired thought to ask for more than enough. when you truly have faith, there's more than enough.
Now, maybe shifting gears here for a second. I know one of the points that you always talk about in your clips that I've seen and on other podcasts that I've listened to you don't believe in coincidences. And I'd love for you to just walk through your belief of no such thing as coincidences, because I find it's so amazing. And I'd love for you to walk through that.
I actually do believe in coincidences, but in a different way, right? I believe in the mathematical equation of coincidences. I believe in the mathematical equation of luck. I believe in the mathematical equation of karma, which is what I pay attention to, what I focus in on, and give my intention to doing, saying, thinking, believing, and feeling in the trajectory of what I'm focused in on will create the coincidences that I want or better. So the universe will coincide in my favor, and the outcomes, although I don't have a capability of understanding or knowing whether or not outcomes are to the betterment of the trajectory that I'm in. So if, for example, my business fails, which mine did, if, for example, you go bankrupt, which I did, which, for example, if you lose over $100 million, almost losing your life and your wife, which I did, you will know that you're being protected and promoted. You will know that this is an outcome that's relative to a coincidence to put you in a better position, a better place, a better situation. Coincidences are a mathematical equation devoid of time and devoid of circumstance and devoid of human capability that allow us to pay attention to what we want, do, say, think, believe, and feel everything that we can in the trajectory of what we think we want or better, and then feel good about the outcomes, even if they're the antithesis of what we wanted or they perceive to be the antithesis of what we want. Allow time to unravel the betterment of your life, the acceleration of your life, the expansion of your life, the exponentiality of the outcomes. So when you don't get into the school, you don't get the loan, your business deals falls through, the girl breaks up with you or leaves you, you get into an accident of some kind, realize that is a coincidence. It's the coinciding of the protection and promotion, not the punishment, as long as you're paying attention and giving intention to, or at least acknowledging the intention that you're giving.
Too cool. I found that to be such an amazing unlock when I heard you outline that the first time I heard it, and I appreciate you sharing that. You mentioned, the girl breaking up with you or other life circumstance happening. One of the points in your book that I found so fascinating was the point about being very specific about the manifestations that you're working towards. Could you walk through your thoughts on manifestation and how to visualize the future that you're looking to create?
Yeah, I think first the realization that most people live their life in nothingness. They live their life like tubes, food in and food out. And the first step, the mathematical advantage to nothingness, is a possibility. And the way that we achieve possibility is to know what we want today in the trajectory of what we think we want to manifest in the future or better. And so to be very specific on a daily routine about this is what I want today, personally, experientially, giving and receiving wise, and be specific. Because if you say I want a lot of dough, that's not specific enough, right? You could end up with a lot of those cookies that were overflowing out of the pantry. But if you say I want to make over $1 million today in the trajectory of empowering over 1 billion people in the future, now we're talking about the specifics of knowing your what, which takes a mathematical advantage over the nothingness that most people live in. Now, if you can figure out who you can help and who can help you, now you can take that same nothingness and possibility and take another mathematical leap called a probability. The minute you know who you can help and who can help you with what you want, it's a mathematical advantage and it's a probability. If you know how you can utilize time today in order to effectuate the attention and intention that you want to give it, you can take the probability and make it your perspective. So is it activity you get paid for, activity you don't get paid for, activity of sleep, activity that's planned, activity that's not planned? And when we can effectuate lenses of being productive, adding value, accessible to others and accessing or receiving, and my favorite lens of gratitude, to be able to find the light, the love, and the lessons in the intention that we give, we take that perspective. And now all we need to do is prioritize our now. If we know what to do now and know what to do next, that prioritization makes what we want who we can help, how to get it done a reality. We now take the nothingness of most people and make realities. And now to exacerbate, accelerate, compound that reality in a trajectory where we want to be, the fifth step is to apply our why. Be inspired, identify what you're doing to interfere with what you already have. Because we live in what? An abundant, infinite system of thought that has everything for everyone. So instead of trying to get more of what you already have, or instead of acknowledging that you live in scarcity, either things happening to you or for you, instead of asking, I want more money, more happy, more health, more wealth, whatever it is, why not say, I am? I am happy. I am healthy. I am wealthy. I am worthy. What am I doing to interfere with it? And start the practice of identifying that. Identify through the clues of what you're afraid of, the patterns of how you react to fear, and of course, making better choices in the trajectory of where you want to be, which will aggregate, compound, and accelerate towards what you want or better. If we know our what, our who, our how, our now, and apply our why, I promise you the manifestation, the specifics of the manifestation with the open-mindedness of the lack of capability that we have to understand or know outcomes, I promise the manifestations will come faster and more accurately.
Just dialing into the right frequency.
You got it.
I know my mom's gonna laugh at the point about tubes being in and out, so that'll be a funny one there. But you mentioned, you've had some incredible highs in your life and career, and then also some difficult lows between losing $100 million and everything in between. You've talked about a lot of your quantum leap or quantum shift in the life that in your life. What advice would you have for someone? A lot of my audience is in their 20s, going through the same sort of frontal cortex fully developing, going through these same sorts of thoughts that you're outlining now and just starting to grasp that. What would be a good starting point that you'd recommend for folks that are starting to think through these things, starting to, try to realize how to provide value for themselves for the rest of their life and careers? What advice would you have for someone in their 20s right now?
Ask for help. Find someone who sits in a situation that you want to be in and ask them for help. The fastest way to get to where you want to be is to ask someone who's already there for directions, and also provide directions to someone that wants to be where you are. Pull up a seat at your table as well as ask for a seat at somebody else's. It's the best piece of advice. It's the fastest way to get to where you want to be. And so many, especially people in their 20s, teenagers, they're afraid to ask for help, especially as well as accessible as people are today, that you can DM them, LinkedIn them, message them, email them, call them, text them. There's so many different ways to ask for help. And there is a priority that older people give to younger people. The priority is they want to help more than anyone else. They want to help young people because they received help, or if they didn't ask for it, they wish they did. And so the statistical success of asking people, especially when you're young, who sit in a situation that you want to be in for help, or do you know anyone that can help me, is a powerful tool, not only because people want to help each other innately within their own quantum shifts and their own quantum beings, but more importantly, there's more accessibility today. More people know people. The average person has 1,000 people in their network instead of 3 to 4. That is an exponentiality that we're not taking advantage of. And so I encourage everyone to ask for help. And in fact, anyone in your community that needs help, anyone that wants my book, I know it had an impact on you. I will sign my book. I will send it to you. I will pay for the book. I will pay for shipping for free. Just email me, david@dmeltzer.com, david@dmeltzer.com. Put it in the show notes. I'll share whatever wisdom and dummy tax that I have to share in order to effectuate what you need and where you want to be.
Thanks so much, David. I'll be sure to plug that. And just as we round out here, you've got a picture of what looks to be the M&Ms in the background there. What, your kids are in their teenagers. What advice would you have for them? I mean, they're going into a whole new world of technology and AI and all of these new tools. I know you have a law background. Would you advise for them to go into technology field? How would you advise, kids to navigate into the real world today?
Well, there's
Besides
three
asking for
things
help,
that
of course.
yeah, of course. I tell them, look, do your best, learn lessons, and have fun with whatever you want to do. If it was me, I would prioritize three different things. One, learn as much as you can about AI. Two, learn interpersonal people skills, learn to communicate in person with people. And then three, read. Read more, because that will help you differentiate the real from the fake. And so if you want exponentiality, a differentiator in your life, personally and professionally, do your best, learn lessons and have fun. Learn more about AI, learn personal intercommunication skills in person, and read. And if you do these things, I promise you, you will make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun. And don't forget to ask for help.
I love it. David, last point for you, because that's exactly what the last note I wanted to share. You have a quote. It's in Principle 5 and Strategy of your book. And I've told so many people about this. And it said, I can't tell you how many times I've found a book that's been sitting on my shelf for years, or that had the perfect message for me right when I needed it. And I've resonated with that time and time again. I feel as though every time I pick up a book, it has the exact answers that I'm looking for. And that's what your book did for me. And that's why I'm so fortunate to be sitting across the screen from you here today. And I'm just so appreciative of your time, and I look forward to reconnecting with you here again soon.
I can't wait. Anytime, anyone that needs help, david@dmeltzer.com. I'll look forward to coming back on, look forward to helping however I can. See you my next trip to New York. Have a happy Thanksgiving before, during, and after when you get to listen to this incredible podcast. Thanks for having me.